To get started, I grabbed a basic hula hoop and wrapped inexpensive greenery garland all the way around the hoop, and I just secured the ends with a little bit of packing tape to hold it all in place. Now I needed a base to hold my wreath upright, so I used some scrap wood to create a quick stand. After nailing these pieces together, I gave them a quick coat of spray paint to make it look more polished. You can see here how the stand holds the hula hoop perfectly upright, creating a really beautiful display. I even hot glued a little extra greenery onto the base to make it blend in. Once the wreath was standing, it was time for the fun part, decorating. I picked up some of these holiday florals from Dollar Tree, and after cutting the stems apart, I tucked them into the greenery all around the hula hoop. There's really no need for glue here. The greenery will actually just hold it all in place. Just tuck the wire stems underneath the greenery that's wrapped around your hoop, and you can move things around and adjust the placement of your florals until you like the look. To add a little holiday glow, I wrapped 2 sets of these battery-operated lights all the way around my wreath. For a little added sparkle, I hung some small Dollar Tree ornaments from the top using fishing line. This is a subtle touch, but it makes the wreath look so festive, and you could play around with lots of ornament colors, shapes, and sizes. I also found this adorable wooden Merry Christmas ornament at Dollar Tree and attached it to the hula hoop with a zip tie. And for the finishing touch, I hot glued the sparkly white deer, also from Dollar Tree's ornament section, to the wreath. And there you have it, a giant festive hula hoop wreath that you can use literally anywhere, in front of the fireplace, on a window seat, on a credenza, or maybe in front of your picture window. This is a budget-friendly holiday decor piece that looks stunning when the lights are dim too. And you could even try a smaller version if you wanted to, with a mini hula hoop to use as a holiday centerpiece on your table.
Grab some tinsel garland and some square wire wreath forms from your favorite dollar store or craft store for this easy and festive Christmas project. Place 2 of the square wreath forms on their side to create an upright L shape. Then, using small zip ties, connect one side of each frame to the other. Use 2 zip ties to create a solid connection for stability. Add that 4th wreath form with the zip ties so all 4 wire frames are connected to form a 3D square. Now that you've got 1 wreath form left, lay it on top to create a box. Cut off the ends of all the zip ties with some sharp scissors. And it's tinsel time. Take a tinsel garland and hot glue one end of the garland to a corner at the bottom of the wreath frame box. Carefully wind the garland around the bottom of the frame box and continue to wrap, working your way upwards. Periodically, use a little hot glue to anchor the garland to the box. A little goes a long way. You don't need to go crazy with the hot glue. When you come to the end of one garland, just start with another garland and continue the wrapping. Hot glue at the beginning of each garland to attach it to the frame. Next, take another garland and start to cover the top. Again, use hot glue to initially anchor the end of the garland to the edge of the top. Because you're covering the top of the box frame, you can just weave the garland in and out through the sides of the box frame. I ended up using just 2 garlands to cover the top of my box. Every wrapped present needs some ribbon and a bow, and this present needs a big bow. I broke it down into 3 steps. First, the side ribbon. Wrap a long length of wired ribbon around the box and twist underneath before bringing the tails up and over the sides of the box and knotting on top. Second, take another length of wired ribbon and slide through the previously knotted ribbon at the top of the present. Tie in a knot on top and curl the ribbon ends with your hand into a gentle wave for the tails of the bow. Last, make the actual big bow. Then attach the bow to the top of the box by connecting with the florist wire. And there you have it. This project looks great displayed under a Christmas tree or even on a dining table or kitchen island as a spectacular centerpiece. I hope this inspired you to make your own square wreath decorative Christmas present.
I was in the dollar store the other day and I came across these waste paper baskets. They're actually meant to be basketball nets, but when I flipped them upside down, I realized they would make the perfect large Christmas bells. So I picked up 2 of those, and then I also picked up 2 of these jingle bells, and I'm going to head back home and we're going to make them over into fun Christmas bells. So to begin my project, I used some gold spray paint, and I just spray painted both the baskets. I started with the baskets flipped over and did a really good generous coat on both baskets and let that fully dry. Once that was dry, I flipped the baskets back over and made sure to spray paint the inside as well, and making sure that I got the full rim of the waste paper basket so that everything was nice and gold. And then I let these fully set and dry. After I was done this, I came in with my jingle bells, and I'm going to go ahead and I want to make these look a little more antique. So I'm going to take them off the string, and to do this, they just easily pull off here. They're just hooked on by a little ring. And then I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to put all the jingle bells into an old cardboard box. And then I'm going to take some black spray paint and I'm going to spray them. And while I'm spraying them, I'm also going to move them around. Don't worry too much about doing a perfect coat of spray paint because I want these to look vintage. So moving them around is actually attributing to the style. Once those dried, I'm going to go ahead and spray them with some white vinegar. And while the vinegar is still wet on the jingle bells, I'm going to come in with some gold spray paint, and then I'm going to just lightly spray paint over the vinegar and the black jingle bells. Again, moving them around in my box, beating them up in a way so that they look vintage. Next, I'm going to come in and I'm going to take a 1/2 inch spade bit and I'm going to drill down through the top of my waste paper basket just to make a hole. Then I'm going to take the ribbon and the hoop that my jingle bells were originally attached to, and I'm going to remove this bow. I'm just cutting it off. It was glued in place and I couldn't get it off, but I don't want that. And then I'm going to take the ribbons and slide them down into the hole. So pulling them through, and then I have this nice handle here for my bell. I'm going to hot glue it in place, and then I'm going to come in with some just nice embellishment. I'm using some greenery here, so some picks, and I'm going to stick a little pine cone in here. And then I'm also going to make my own bow, a little bigger, fluffier bow, and I'm going to attach that as well, just using hot glue to hold it in place. And then just another extra pine cone on the side. Then I'm going to reattach my now vintage jingle bells back in the original place where they were. And this is my finished Christmas bells here. So I've hung them here on the outside of my cabin. I think they're so cute, and I love that these were so easy to do just with a few dollar store items. I hope this inspires you to get creative this Christmas season with things you find in the dollar store.
For this project, it's time to head down to your local dollar store or Dollar Tree and grab some inflatable balls. What we need to do is have a base to set our project up on. First thing we got to do is get some good primer. This is applied before the paint. Primer is excellent. What it does is it gets rid of the color and it gives something for the paint to stick to. It doesn't need to look pretty, but get just enough on, not too thick. We don't want it to run. Once we get it on, flip it over. You're going to have to paint that little spot on the bottom that doesn't get hit, and it gives you time to go ahead and make sure it gets really nice and dry. Then grab some gold paint. The better the quality, the better it's going to turn out. Now, when you're painting, it's better to put tiny little small coats on first instead of really thick. We don't want any runs. Let this dry for a good 24 hours, and let's bring it inside. Now use that manufactured line as the straight line that you're going to use to make that first mark, right at the top of the mark. Take a measuring tape, go ahead and place it on the 6-inch, because we want to go 6 inches on one side and 6 on the other. So make a mark at the 12 and make a mark on the back end at the beginning of the measuring tape. Do this 90 degrees on the other side. You're going to do this again with the 1-inch mark in the 12. Grab some acrylic black paint, lay it out, and we're going to use a foam brush. I found that this puts it on really nice. Start at the top, right down the manufactured seam right there, and take that right down to your first mark, 6 inches down. This foam brush is 1 inch wide and it's the perfect width. Take again at the top, go all the way around the back side, all the way to your other mark. So you're going to have a full 12-inch mark. Turn it around 90 degrees, make a mark there, because what we're looking for is we're going to put a big X on top of this ball right here. As you can see also, that gold paint turned out really nice. It's nice and even. Once we get that on, look at that. That's exactly what we're looking for, but we're not done. Go ahead and take your brush, put it flat with some paint on, and we're going to make a circle at the end of each of these lines. That's going to be what's going to make these jingle bells look really cool. Go ahead and do it any way you like. I like to put it down, circle it right around the center, and you want to make sure your circle at the end's a little bit thicker than your line. Now look at this. It's not perfect, but don't worry, there's no mistakes that we can't fix. Once we get this all set up, let it dry, and it's time to put it in place. I wanted to put this under the Christmas tree, so I put out some fabric right there, and then I placed our jumbo jingle bells right underneath. I made 3 of them, put them in place right there underneath the tree, and look at this. It just looks amazing. I loved how it turned out, easy to do and inexpensive. I hope this inspired you to build your own jumbo jingle bells. Thanks for watching Home Talk, and we'll see you next time.